You either die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Security, and they're all black. I think that's worth noting. I mean, they were all like 6'5" black dudes. And yeah, that's terrifying. Is a 6'5" black dude scare you more than a 6'5" white dude? I think I'm a hypocrite. Dude, is it racist to refer to black people as blacks?
You idiot. You're honestly an idiot. I don't know what's wrong with you.
What can you do to me? I've already said the N-word. Like, you can't take me down.
Well,
I've already said the N-word. Live.
Let's not invite
You can't touch me. H3's a hypocrite. Because he said
H3H3 was once one of the most loved YouTubers. However, over time, he really became the thing that he sought to destroy.
You were the chosen one! It was said that you would destroy this!
SJWs.
Did not join them! Bring balance to the force! Not leave it in darkness!
By far, one of the biggest criticisms of H3H3 now is that he's become a really big hypocrite.
H3's a hypocrite. I didn't watch the podcast, but this guy says he's a hypocrite.
One of the biggest examples of his hypocrisy is when he invited Dr. Jordan Peterson to his podcast, and at the beginning he states his political beliefs and is fully aware of the doctor's beliefs, and then 2 years later he deletes all the videos and tweets out that he wasn't aware of his beliefs.
I thought the conversation was great. It was a really interesting conversation. I didn't know anything about his politics.
Are you sure about that?
On like, he's a critic of white privilege, culture appropriation. He's obviously transphobic, you know, and is Jordan Peterson. He is a Canadian clinical psychologist, cultural critic, and professor of psychology at the University of Toronto. He came to wide prominence after speaking out against a new Canadian law making it illegal to call someone by a pronoun that they don't identify with. He's a critic of white privilege, cultural appropriation, postmodern feminism.
Stop the cap! Stop the cap right now! Stop the cap! No bullshit!
Okay, so maybe Ethan at the time, he didn't really mind Doctor, but he just thought that maybe he should get rid of these interviews because it just wasn't right. But it doesn't really make sense because Justin Rowland, who was on Ethan's podcast, he was recently outed as someone with a lot of crimes against him, the biggest one being that he was allegedly grooming underage children, and there's a lot of evidence against it, but his episodes all stay up on the podcast. So although H3H3 wants us to believe he's changed and he's a lot more about social justice, this is then contradicted and shows that he's a hypocrite because he's used the N-word quite a few times and very openly. He's also bragged about the fact that he's used the N-word.
What can you do to me? I've already said the N-word. Like, you can't take me down.
well,
I've already said the N-word. Live.
let's not invite
You
anyone.
can't touch me.
Because I like it. Hell, I love it. I'm sitting here, I'm just itching. I'm itching to do it again. And you think what? You think you're gonna send me to a nut house? Some doctor, they're gonna get me to stop from doing what I want to do? Well, that ain't happening. Not on my watch.
H3's a hypocrite. Because he said nigger. I love that I can just say nigger.
Stop. Hey, look at me.
Let's
look
see
at
your
me.
talent.
No, hey. No, you need to look at me.
So what made this even worse and him even more hypocritical is the fact that when PewDiePie said the N-word when he was live streaming, it was a very big thing, and this was Ethan's take on it.
I don't think Felix is a racist person, but god damn, he really kind of just was really comfortable using that word. That really just kind of...
I know that ain't who I think it is.
So without a doubt, Ethan's biggest flaw right now is the fact that he's such a changed person to when he first started YouTube, of how he got his fans. He used to make fun of a lot of SJWs, and nowadays he's become that SJW.
Men and some women. of the H3 subreddit. Stop referring to women as females.
Daddy, chill.
Now, I had never, I don't know what, for whatever reason, I guess I'm guilty of saying females up until recently. I stopped. I started saying women. Because, I guess I kept saying females over at Teddy Fresh in chats and stuff. And Ela was like, you have to stop saying that. And I was like, what? So there is a movement to request to men and all people to stop saying female.
I used to look up to you, man. How could you do this? How could you do this, bro?
This clip is embarrassing for two reasons. The first one is, this is the type of fans and audiences he has now. Back then, it was very, very different. And nowadays, he not only agrees with it, but he also pushes these type of statements out there, when back then, he used to have this humongous video where he was making fun of people like this, and he would have absolutely roasted the shit out of this person. So H3H3, his greed for money has really taken over. Like, the reason why he does podcasts now is because, if you don't know, podcasts earn so much more money and it's so much easier to make, because the amount of watch time on a podcast is way longer and you don't have to even edit your video. You just sit down and talk and that's it. So H3H3 hasn't even uploaded on his channel in years. All he's done is just podcasts, and not only his greed for money has turned him into just a podcast channel, his merch has also shown a lot of greed. Not only are they extremely overpriced, but they have been blatantly ripping off designs of other people. And a YouTuber called King of Nothing, he made a video on H3H3 and he compiled a compilation of all the stuff they stole. But yeah, anyways, here's my rating for H3H3.
I mean, it's alright, like, overrated as fuck in my opinion.